No, they're all in the hands and knees, and it's been played out right in front of us. It's been a terrific race today, the 77th edition of Gent-Wevelgem. It's not over yet. Geraint Thomas is still fighting. He's got Debussy there, but Roland is gone. But if you turn the clock back to 2013, when Paulini went away with Stijn van den Berg in the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, and Paulini won that. So again, it's not the person you want to really go with and take Paulini to the line. So Debussy comes through. Geraint Thomas is still in there. Stijn van den Berg, Van Marks, they're still hanging in there. But Terpstra has got a battler with him, and Paulini could do the dirty on them again and take this win.
Well, it's four riders chasing two. Rollins looked like he was out of it. There's a little bit of a stall behind, and Geraint Thomas goes again. He knows he's got to try and shift those other riders. He's got to eliminate the man at the back of this group here, Jens Debussy. He's got a couple of meters of daylight on Stijn van den Berg. Van den Berg desperate to try and get back into the wheel of the Skyman, and just freewheels for a couple of moments and grimaces his way back onto the wheel of the Skyman. Meanwhile, up front, Niki Terpstra and Luca Paolini working well together, working as well as they possibly can. And now Van den Berg starting to ride, it would appear.
Looks as if Van Mark has lost the wheel now. So Geraint Thomas towing up Van den Berg now. Debussy up on his last leg, so is Van Mark. So again, it's going to be very difficult. Geraint Thomas is going to get no help whatsoever from Van den Berg. So this race is in pieces. It's got two, then two, then two. Then the man of the day, Roland's just been dropped.
It's a bunch of two-up time trial pursuits out there now, and I did for a moment think that Stijn van den Berg had gone through. He most certainly did not. Flick of the elbow from Sepp Van Mark, who's absolutely out on his feet, as Brian says. Debussy has been eliminated from the equation, or has he? He'll continue to chase any stall from the four riders in front, and he'll be right back into contention. So they know they have to keep riding. Geraint Thomas running a little bit wide on that roundabout, but he's still managing to close the gap. Paolini and Terpstra not making any further inroads, and I think it looks like Geraint Thomas is going to bring Stijn van den Berg back into contention.
Just put him in the gutter. Just put Stijn van den Berg in the gutter, but it does look as if the big pressure on Lotto Soudal now with Debussy. He's been sat on the wheels. But in these conditions, sat in the wheels, you still have to make a big effort. So it's still Terpstra from Paolini. Geraint Thomas is just about cracking Van den Berg. If he can get up there, get his breath and try and go again, he could do the double here.
Oh, Van den Berg could well be out of it here if Thomas can get up there in time and then go again. But it's a big ask, that, isn't it? Because this is an absolutely monstrous effort from Geraint Thomas. He's flying today, and Edix Quickstep have the numbers, but only if Stijn van den Berg can get back to them. Luca Paolini looks like he's the lesser of the two partners in terms of the contributing effort, and Geraint Thomas gets back in there. What a great effort from him.
Super effort, but again, he can't hang about. And if Niki Terpstra looks back, I'm afraid that he may just sit up and wait for Van den Berg to come back to the front.
And Geraint Thomas suggests that maybe Niki Terpstra might want to make some contribution of his own. He'll just wait a little moment. Van den Berg's coming back to them. The key moment here, Paolini is giving all that he can to keep Stijn van den Berg out of it. Puts a little bit of daylight between himself
He's
and
just
the
waiting.
Thomas.
He's playing. He doesn't want to go on his own. Paolini doesn't want to go on his own. It's still a long way to go. 11.4 kilometres. He knows he's got sprint to win this edition. Terpstra, I don't think he'll do any turns because Van den Berg is just behind. He'll want Van den Berg to come back up. So this looks as if it's going to be four very soon. But Geraint doesn't want Van den Berg to come up. So he has to keep on pushing on, so very tactical at the moment, still anybody's race.
And Thomas is calling for assistance from Luca Paolini. He says, you've got to ride now. Paolini knows that he does, goes to the front, but is his effort equal to or better than that of Stijn van den Berg? It looks as if that's not the case, because Paolini rolls off the front, and that little stall means that Van den Berg is back on and back in contention. 10 kilometres remaining in an enthralling Gent-Wevelgem. The Sprinters Classic, not one for the sprinters, but will it come down to a sprint?
Van Mark and Debussy are still in the distance, probably 15-20 seconds down. You'd think that Lotto Soudal thought they were in a very, very good position going into the last 25 kilometres, but unfortunately for them, the Bucherer hadn't got the legs when Rolands has been caught. So we're down to two Ethics riders in front, Terpstra and Vandenberg, together with the man on form, Geraint Thomas, who won E3 Harelbeke just a couple of days ago, and also the very intelligent riding of Luca Paolini for Katusha.
Well, De Bucherer and Van Mark can sense that they're stalling a little bit up front. They haven't got time to finesse. Inside 10 kilometres to go, and they're desperate to get back into contention. Van Mark has an ally for once in De Bucherer. A man that, well, he doesn't really want to bring back up there, but he knows up there. Paolini's flicking the elbows all over the place. He's the big danger in the sprint. If it remains a sprint of 4 riders, could well be a sprint of 6. I'll tell you what, we're going on about De Buchereur's sprinting ability, but he's made such huge efforts to stay in contention here.
The thing is, sprinting in these conditions, when they've been riding hard all day after 240 kilometres, it's not easy at all.
It's a different thing altogether.
Different thing. It's going to be who's got the strength in the end. It does look as if Paolini looks exceptionally strong today. Okay, he's been found missing in parts, but he came across to the group. He looks strong there, and he's been using his craft, his experience, to put him in a real good position to win this race today.
Well, De Bucherer is out of it at the moment. Do Ethics Quick Step resume their attacking ploy, or do they put a rider on the front to drill it in a big way? I think all 4 of them are going to have to ride. Geraint Thomas goes through. Bottles being dispensed with. Terpstra, a gulp and then a gulp of air. Vandenberg, straight arms there. No strength left in the legs, not much strength left upper body either. Van Mark is going to tow De Bucherer, and he's not towing him back up. Both of them are sharing the effort.
They're all over their bikes now. They're just making big efforts. How much effort will they have left? The final 8 kilometres. But it's been a good tag team for the 2 Belgians to come back to make it 6. Okay, there's 20-30 metres to go, but it does look as if they'll make it back to make 6 in front of the race.
Oh, it's tantalising, the gap now, isn't it? It looks as if De Bucherer is going to make it. And Van Mark alongside him. Will there be an attack just as the junction is made? And if so, by whom? Geraint Thomas has to get away from this group. I feel that he knows it. 3k out was seemed like a good number for him on Friday.
Yeah, it was just over 4k. He went with the E3 Harelbeke and held them off. It's been a very savage day today, and it's going to come down to who's got enough left in the legs. And Vandenberg has got a problem now,
as he hit technical difficulties. Well, Nicky Terpstra has to stop to get a bike. Well, there won't be too many spare bikes Vandenberg's size, and you wouldn't have thought Vandenberg's bike is going to be on the outside of the car either, so I think he's going to have to get a wheel, and it looks as if Stan Vandenberg so close to the finish. And he's still riding. Is it a punctured wheel? Just struggling to see. Is he stuck in gear? No obvious clues there. He's with the Ethics Quick Step car. 7 kilometres remaining.
And he's back.
He's straight back up there.
Go to the left and go on the attack.
Well, perhaps he went back for a little bit of instruction. We know his radio hasn't been working that well. Well, he goes, takes the road less travelled through that roundabout, emerges right alongside Luca Paolini, and then goes again with one of his trademark attack from the front. He'll never catch them out that way. Rolls off the throttle. A brief respite for the riders as the finessing begins. 6 riders left in this one. Danielos out of it at this point.
You just look at all the faces. They know they've been in a bike race today. Still not over. 6.7 kilometres to go to the finish. Getting very, very tactical now with 2 riders in this front group. You think that Ethics Quick Step would want to try, as you see Wilfred Peters just on the radio, want to try and give them some encouragement to start the old 1-2. Start attacking them. You see Nicky Terpstra on the left. He's trying to get to the back of the group to try and surprise them. Geraint Thomas knows what he's trying to do. De Bucherer has been sat on the wheels. Paolini decides to go on the left. He's not one to wait for a sprint now. Just test them out. freewheels, still 6.3.
Little tester attack, hoping someone else would be tempted into an immediate response. I tell you what, a little bit this track stand stuff, and Jürgen Rollins will come back into it.
Was Terpstra again? He's managed to put himself at the back of the group now.
And now Paolini has found himself with a little bit of a gap and has been tempted into committing to it. It's Geraint Thomas once more that feels the responsibility of closing them down.
A look behind by Van den Berg, waiting to see where Terpstra is. Terpstra has to go now.
It would make sense to go over the top of that one and make it the Terpstra-Paolini duo up front once more. Paolini has a very significant gap now, 5.5 kilometres remaining.
Too much negative riding behind, so Paolini decides it's time to go. He doesn't want to come to the finish with De Bucherer, so he's decided to go. Ethics need to do something here. Terpstra is in the prime place to go over the top.
And here it comes. Terpstra finally makes the move. Geraint Thomas is alive to the danger. And they all managed to slot in. Stijn van den Berg with significantly less facility than the others. And Terpstra realises that he hasn't managed to get any daylight and immediately packs that one in. All to the advantage of Luca Paolini.
I'll tell you what, Ethics Quickstep are not in a very good way at the moment, having two riders in this group behind. They have to try and do something. Geraint Thomas is keeping a minute. It's coming close to 5 kilometres to go. Ethics Quickstep, if they want to win this race, have to do something. De Bucherer is there. The Belgian champion Van Mark has been struggling ever so slightly. Geraint Thomas, if he wants to try and win this, has to try what he did in E3 and try and distance the others. 9 seconds now to Luca Paolini.
Oh, it's an amazing game of cat and mouse. I tell you what, that's some serious chess they're playing, because Luca Paolini is 1,000% committed to this one as Van den Berg goes once more. So they're working the old 1-2. De Bucherer feeling the pain as he scrabbles back onto Geraint Thomas's wheel. But as Van den Berg looks behind, he sees that Sepp van Mark is right with him. All the time, Luca Paolini piling the power such as these got left onto the pedals. Total consistency of effort. It's stop-start behind him, and I think Paolini's gone. This is very, very dangerous.
That's it, they've thrown it away now. Ethics Quickstep having 2 in front. He just said to Van den Berg, you have to go now. But they have got a sprinter behind, and off he goes.
Van den Berg goes again. Van Mark struggles to make the juncture. And Geraint Thomas isn't enjoying this much either, because a few bike links between himself and Van Mark. De Bucherer next up, Terpstra getting the free ride.
Well, it looks as if in the 77th edition of Gent-Wevelgem that experience is going to prevail here. Ethics Quickstep had 5 riders in the front group, but Paolini goes on the attack. He must have about 15-20 seconds now.
Here comes Terpstra. He got a little bit of respite before he made that one. Geraint Thomas immediately responds, and that could be significant, because there's still 3.5 kilometres to go. And Paolini, I'd love to know what the gap is. He's 38 years of age. He's been and done absolutely everything in cycling. He's been with Katusha since 2011, Aqua Saponi before that, Liquigas with the Quickstep squad for a while as well.
He's been around a long, long time. Only just 14 wins he's named, but he's in a great position now with 3 kilometres to go to take out his 15th pro career win.
Yeah, he's had stage wins in Giro d'Italia, and it's worth pointing out, as indeed you did a little earlier, Brian, he's won the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad back in 2013. And another significant win in Flanders. It's a tailwind at the moment, as you can see, indicated by the flags. Van Mark is out of it at this point. Terpstra, with Geraint Thomas for company, is chasing our lone leader, Luca Paolini. Behind them, Jens De Bucherer and Stijn van den Berg. Paolini looking only in one direction at the moment. He's right down the bottom of the block, dragging around the biggest gear he can possibly sustain. Just 2 kilometres remaining for Paolini. Can he hang on? He's out of sight of Sepp van Mark. Van Mark just focusing all his energies on getting back to De Buskere and Stijn Vandenberg. And De Buskere is going to have to do it alone if he's getting back to Terpstra and Thomas.
53.11 he's in at the moment, and inside the last 2 kilometres, a 240 kilometre race, really tough conditions. You can just see him down the road. He's got about 18 seconds now. You've now got Terpstra and Thomas. I don't think they're going to bring him back. I think we're going to see probably the oldest winner of Gent-Wevelgem.
He's got to be up there, 38. He's one of the oldest riders in the race. Pataki, the oldest to sign on this morning, but Luca Paolini has been around a long time. Has tasted victory champagne on many occasions. He sees the kite, sees that it's fluttering in the breeze with the tailwind, and steals a little look over his left shoulder as if to say, what sort of a gap have I got? Not believing any information he's getting from his team car. If indeed he's getting any information at this point. And it's all over, surely. Geraint Thomas and Nicky Terpstra are not going to get back to this man now. Stijn Vandenberg looks to jump Jens De Buskere to see can he race back up to Thomas, and De Buskere is a beaten docket, there's no doubt about it. So Stijn Vandenberg will attempt to close the gap back up to his teammate, but that will be in a race for minor positions. Eric Quickstep miss out again on a big win because Luca Paolini has jumped them all. He's played his cards to absolute perfection. Not the strongest rider in the group, but one of the strongest, and knew exactly when to make his effort. It's an absolutely brilliant win after one of the most stunning classics we've seen in recent years. It's been a tough day, and he is thumbs up to everyone in Flanders, not least his breakaway companions, as he gets his hand in the air and says, yes, I am the winner of Gent-Wevelgem for 2015. Chasing behind, it's a great second place, but runner-up slot for Nicky Terpstra, and first and third 2 days apart for Geraint Thomas. And Vandenberg shakes his head. Unfortunately, his team not capable of getting a win. Jens De Buskere, great effort, but unfortunately not quite able to be equal to that one. And Luca Paolini certainly did use his head, which I think might have been what he meant with that gesture as he approached the finish line. Disappointment once more for Sepp van Mark, but he has made a great contribution to some wonderful entertainment this afternoon. Luca Paolini, your victor of Gent-Wevelgem.
Yeah, we got directly to go.
And that was pretty much the perfect way to play it, Brian.
He pointed to his head, and that's what we were saying, the most experienced rider. And, you know, he watched distance a couple of times, but really used the experience, came back, went at the right time, just when they were finessing, looking at each other. I think